So I'm working on a game. Hi, this is a devlog for a game I'm working on. A cyberpunk movement FPS with cool and satisfying mechanics. Anyways, as the gods intended, we start with a bean. Now instead of using the pre-made Godot movement, I'm gonna make my own using a rigid body and moving it with forces. Why do all that work? Well, because I'm a dumbass. And then I added WASD movements, so the bean can actually bean now. Also added a first-person camera. It's just a camera 3D that moves up and down inside a node 3D that moves left and right. This is what happens when you only have a camera 3D and you rotate it. Yeah, it's a bit f***ed up. We love rotations. The bean is sliding around a bit too much, so let's add some friction and counter movement. You can achieve friction in two ways. Either using linear damp or adding the friction force in script. I used forces because linear damp is applied in every direction, which makes it feel like you always have feather falling. For both methods you probably want to set damp mode to replace, so the default damp isn't added on. Adding counter movement is similar. You just get the velocity on the player's X and Z axes and then lower them if the player isn't moving in those directions. So yeah, that's basically all of the basic movement. Yeah, see what I did there? Oh, also jumping. This is a movement FPS, so we need some more movement options. So you can crouch now, and if you go fast enough, you slide. Dashing just moves you in the direction you're looking. Wall running makes you fall slower and lets you jump off of walls. It's just a CSGO knockoff. I got bored of the Roblox baseplate thing, so I made a test map. It's still the same, it just has a house in it now. For adding weapons, I just watched a couple of tutorials. Shooting stuff requires stuff to shoot, so we got Bobbert and Belargo. This one is a melee type, and this jackass shoots laser bullets. And if you're wondering why they're also beans, well... At this point, I realized my code was horrible. So I refactored it. All of it. So yeah, now I'm using composition. It's just dividing functionality into components. If you want to learn more, there's a tutorial somewhere in the description. The gameplay lacked impact, so I added some sound effects using BFXR. It's free and it can do almost any sound, but I don't know how to use it, so I just spam randomize until it sounds usable. Most of the time it just hurts my ears though. Usually for games you want the player to feel in control, so developers add features like coyote time and jump buffering, which is exactly what I added next. It's just a good rule to not require perfect inputs for the most basic of mechanics. Another thing a game needs is maps, so I made one. A tutorial map. It starts off slow but gets more open as the player learns the mechanics. The game is gonna have some lore, but it's probably not gonna be explicitly told. It's gonna be more world building focused. No, trust me, it will look nicer in the future. I almost forgot to mention the main mechanic of the game, infecting/hacking enemies. So in the game you're playing as a computer virus, and the way you play is by controlling enemies. Which enemy you're controlling also changes which gun you have equipped. It's a neat mechanic, because it means I don't have to actually program an inventory. Well, I may actually have to add more slots later, because having one weapon is very limiting. This video is getting kinda long, so I'm just gonna rapid fire some stuff, starting with the important ones. It's kinda yoinked from Ultra Kill, nonetheless very satisfying. Enemy go bloosh. It's also kinda yoinked from Half-Life, but there is some cool tech you could do with it. They explode. Enough said. Kinda got bored and added a grappling hook. If you click, it pulls you, and if you hold, you can swing. Godot doesn't really have a rope node, so I had to use physics again. I spiced up the gun by adding gun sway, inertia, bullet trails, and a shooting animation. Enemy triggers, the level end trigger, and all of these settings. Okay, that's it. The demo is up on my itch. It's just a proof of concept and 99% of it will change. I just didn't want to do a devlog without letting people at least try the game. Okay, well, I'm going on vacation now. Bye.